Austin.
I'm just excited to go up there and try to beat a really great football team. That's ultimately what this week's about. It's not about the quarterback. It's not about, the fans or the home crowd or relationships of 20 years. It's about two good football teams going at it.
Going at it. Yeah, he may sound tired, but Tom Brady says he's ready to lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Foxborough Sunday to take on the Patriots. And there's no way that you didn't notice that Tom has nearly lost his voice as he talked with the media this afternoon. It was the first thing you
right
noticed,
off the bat,
right?
You notice it. And the GOAT even was asked why he sounds so hoarse.
I don't know, I've had a few of these days. I don't know what the deal is, so I got to try to figure this out. I said my throat's more tired than my arm. Imagine that.
We went through this during the summer.
Same thing, I know. It came back. I know. Very strange.
He sounds older, too. It was hard to pick up, but a reporter noted that Brady had gone through a kind of similar issue earlier this summer. He was in good humor, though, so he doesn't appear sick.
He has circles under his eyes, though.
He's been working hard. This is a busy week for him. Brady went on to talk about his experience with 2 decades with the Patriots, and he touched on a scholastic theme.
I've been very blessed. I went to high school football where I fell in love with that. I went to Michigan, which was amazing for me. Had its challenges, but I learned a lot. 20 years in New England was incredible. I learned a lot. Come down here for a year and a half, I've learned a lot. So I have nothing but incredible thoughts, memories, emotions towards all the kind of football experiences I've had. And that's obviously one that was the longest. And I still have a lot of great friends there, but they know I want to kick their butt this week. So
maybe Tom can get some treatment for that throat issue at TB12, or perhaps from health officials at Second Chance U.
Yeah, we made that up, obviously. It's a nod to the Netflix series Last Chance U. That series, if you haven't watched it, A, it's good. B, it follows elite athletes with difficult pasts who turn to a junior college football team as their last shot at turning their lives around and achieving their dreams.
And when you think about it, Brady, in about a year and a half in Tampa Bay, has lured several high-profile players to join him, sort of like a second chance at greatness. And that is our starting point. All right, let's start with the latest enrollee at Brady's Second Chance U. Down in Florida, cornerback Richard Sherman. He's likely a first-ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. Brady recruited Sherman to sign with the Bucs. Part of the reason he was a free agent was that he was arrested in July on a number of charges, including 2 counts of domestic violence and driving while under the influence. Sherman has pleaded not guilty to those charges.
He's had an interesting history with Brady as well. You may recall 10 years ago, I guess 9 now, way back in 2012, when Sherman played for the Seattle Seahawks. Well, they beat the Pats in Seattle. And there's that moment there. Sherman taunting Brady, repeatedly asking him, "You mad, bro?" It went viral, obviously. And Sherman said yesterday Tom was able to put that incident aside.
Well, he actually sent me a jersey. We exchanged jerseys maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, "I'm still mad, bro." He wrote it on the jersey. So, yeah, I got it. I'll see if I can find a picture of it and post it. But he's a great sport about everything, man. He's just a competitor. We're a lot of the same spirit in that regard. You know what I mean? Anything that it takes to win. Me and Tom have had a great relationship over the years. I think, people get confused on the field stuff, but we've texted over the years and had a really cool relationship and always thought it'd be really cool to play together if we had the opportunity.
Sherman obviously picked him in that game, but Brady, of course, got the last laugh in the Super Bowl on another pick.
And there's no doubt who the highest profile enrollee at Second Chance U is, Gronk, who has become perhaps the greatest tight end of all time with the Patriots.
Yeah, he's building on that legacy with Tampa. Not like he had a troubled past, just kind of walked away from the game a little bit. Of course, Gronk wasn't dumped by the Pats. He retired, remember that? He retired. His body was battered and bruised from 9 years of all those hard hits in the NFL. He had knee surgeries, back surgeries, all the way going back to his college days. And when he announced his brief retirement from football, he also announced this new partnership with a CBD company. Remember that in New York? It was an emotional moment, and he talked about the trauma that football had caused him.
And wherever I go, Patriot fans always ask, am I coming back? When I'm coming back? I needed to recover. I was not in a good place. Football was bringing me down, and I didn't like it. And I was losing that joy in life, like the joy.
Yet, about 8 months later, Brady was able to lure Gronk out of retirement to play in Tampa and win another Super Bowl. And if you don't think the joy is back for Gronk, all right, check out the latest video here.
All right, here I go.
Tommy and Gronky.
Never have I ever went more than 3 days without showering.
I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's happened.
I think it's happened with you. I don't think anyone on the team has ever seen you shower, Tom.
No, I don't shower. I just spritz.
Yeah.
Of course, he just spritz.
They're having too
I would
much
actually
fun down
believe it.
there.
Yeah, they
The
really are.
kid pool and everything.
And he's not just happy off the field. He's playing well on it with 4 touchdowns in just 3 games.
And perhaps the most controversial Brady recruit to second chance you open up that locker. It's Antonio Brown. He starred for years with the Pittsburgh Steelers before an 11-day stint with the Pats. Yeah, Brown was paid $5 million and was on the Patriots roster for all of 11 days back in 2019, a week and a half. He was released after the NFL announced it was investigating him for multiple accusations of inappropriate sexual behavior, including rape. He's repeatedly denied those claims, and just earlier this year, he actually settled a civil lawsuit out of court, essentially ending that dispute. But before all those allegations were known, Brady famously told NBC Sports that he was 100%, 1,000%, even 1,000,000% in on the Patriots signing AB. And Tom, of course, stayed in touch with Brown after his release from New England and then connected with him with motivational speaker Tony Robbins to help him focus on his NFL return. Robbins, it should be noted, has also been accused by at least 6 women of sexual misconduct. He also denies those charges categorically. But here's what Brown said last year about his relationship with Brady, but first his dealings with Tony Robbins.
Tom hooked me up with him a couple months ago. He's been a great asset for me. We're working on myself with them, locking some positive stuffs in my spirit and just being a better person. I think there's a lot of similarities in our work ethic, being guys who supposed to be underachievers, for guys who never supposed to make it, 6th-round late boomers, guys who develop chips. I just want to be the best, just yearn for being the best, always growing, getting better.
Notice AB was wearing that TB12 hat during that press conference.
Interesting. Another Brady recruit is former Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. There's nothing too controversial about Fournette. He's a great player. But he had been released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they have been one of the worst teams in the league for 3 straight years. So Brady helped convince him to get a new, cheaper lease on life in Tampa. Here's what Tampa's head coach says about Brady recruiting these cast-offs, the retirees, the undesirables.
I think when you talk about a veteran player and you want to win a championship and Tom calls you, you're going to listen. You're going to listen, especially after and knowing the roster that we have. And yeah, I think there's probably a bunch of veterans out there wishing he'd call them.
And that is what you call a knowing smile. We asked Phil Perry of NBC Sports Boston, how does Brady put Tampa's coaches at ease about these players before he lures them in?
Well, I think the short answer is he's Tom Brady. And so whether you're a front office executive in Tampa Bay or New England, that opinion is going to carry weight. How much weight depends on where you are, though. And in Tampa Bay, it's been made very clear that Tom Brady has input in terms of the players that are being brought in there. And Tom Brady, I think, is looking first and foremost at just accumulating talent. He understands that to win in critical situations, to be able to execute on Sundays, you need smart players, but you also need talent. And it's hard to match the talent of some of these guys that he has brought in, even if they are past their primes, with Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, and Richard Sherman. If they can approach what they were at one point earlier in their careers, even for short spurts, making those kinds of acquisitions, especially when they're not breaking the bank, and none of those 3 guys are, can really pay dividends.
Yeah, and he knows this textbook. Professor Brady has played a role in the recruitment at Second Chance University's northern campus. That one's located in Foxborough, of course. Among those who matriculated here, Hall of Fame receivers Randy Moss. I mean, Bill Belichick had more to do with that one. But Brady and Moss really bonded. They set all those records back in 2007 en route to an undefeated regular season. He, of course, was released in 2010 after butting heads with coaches there. Things didn't work out so well for receiver Chad Johnson. You know him as Ocho Cinco. He was here for 1 season. Chad really never got comfortable in that Patriots offense. He only scored 1 touchdown here, but again, past his prime, had a chance for greatness here. Remember Josh Gordon? He had 2 chances at Second Chance U at Foxborough. He was out of the league after some substance abuse issues. He played great in 2018, but he left without about a month to go in the season after relapsing. He returned the next season but got hurt and then was eventually released by the team.
Another NFL great who was recruited to play in Foxborough is Rodney Harrison. It was Bill Belichick doing the recruiting when he came to town.
Rodney now works for NBC Sports. You'll see him Sunday night as part of Football Night in America. And when we asked him, how does Brady convince Tampa's coaching staff to bring in all these veteran players? Harrison says it's simple.
I mean, he's Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady. That's enough said. I mean, when you're Tom Brady and you walk up to the head coach and he's already understanding, Bruce Arians already understood what situation Tom Brady just left. So he's looking at it like, okay, man, you can bring whoever you want. You need a massage therapist. You need Alex. You need whatever you need, your trainers, all the people that you need, we're going to give it to you. And who doesn't listen to Tom Brady? If he says Rob Gronkowski still has something left in the tank, or Antonio Brown, he needs that guy in third and fourth quarter situations, how could you not listen? The main thing that Bruce and the organization had to do is fit these guys under the salary cap. But at the end of the day, these guys are future Hall of Famers.
And it's not just skilled players getting a chance to rewrite their legacy, thanks to Brady.
Yeah, Tom's even allowed an artist to redraw him, help her bounce back after drawing the face that launched 1,000 jokes. Remember that sketch? Boy, oh boy. Yeah, that's actually Tom Brady. Or supposed to be Tom Brady on the right there. This is in court during Deflategate. It is objectively not great.
It's Tom Brady as Frankenstein.
The artist only had a couple minutes to capture the moment, although there's plenty of pictures and video of Tom Brady out there. Brady's a handsome man. You wouldn't know it from that depiction.
So the woman behind this infamous court sketch got a second try in Brady's next court appearance. And like all of Tom's current teammates, the second time around, it's much more well received.
Still not great.
Still not great.
Still not ideal, but comparing into the first one, much better. It is interesting, though, especially when you hear Bruce Arians mention there are other people out there. Because you wonder if this is going to continue this season and potentially beyond. Just Tom calling up anyone. I'm available, by the way.
Do you think
Tom.
he's sick? Do you think he's sick?
No.
No.
I think he just lost his voice yelling.
Remember, NBC 10 Boston is where you'll be able to see the return of Tom Brady to Foxborough. Kickoff is set for 8:20 Sunday night, but our special coverage begins at 6 p.m. with special reports, live interviews that you will not see anywhere else. And NBC 10's Monica Medea is down in Tampa. She'll have her latest live report tonight at 11.
A lot more ahead right here on the 10, including what happened to this boat here. You can barely see it.